Fat Loss Mastery Guide. All right. So this is an ebook that I have that breaks it down Barney style for you for a guide to your personal fat loss journey by me, Coach Seth. All right. So have you ever wondered why some people can seamlessly eat whatever they want and not gain a pound, while others seem to gain weight just by looking at food? The answer lies in understanding the science of fat loss. So this guide, we're going to be walking you through the basics of how your body stores and burns fat and provide tips for losing weight and keeping it off. So if your goal is to shed X of pounds, but you're confused by the myriad of contradicting information out there on the internet, keep reading and let's get started. So the obesity epidemic, right? So in recent years, obesity has become a major health epidemic in the United States. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, more than one third of adults are obese, and the rate is rising. While there are many factors that contribute to this epidemic, one of the most important is availability of unhealthy food. Fast food restaurants are everywhere, and they're often cheap. Maybe not so much anymore, but they're definitely convenient. Meals are high in calories and low in useful nutrients. In addition, a lot of these places have portion sizes that are increasingly dramatically over the past few decades, making it easy to overconsume calories than ever before. Good news is that there are steps that can be taken to address the obesity epidemic by making healthy food more available and affordable, encouraging people to be more active, and educating people about the dangers of obesity. We can begin to turn the tide against the growing problem. So without a doubt, being overweight and obese does have its health risks. So the first step in contributing to the solution of this global problem is to take care of yourself and be an example to others. So what makes us gain, right? So it is a common misconception that certain foods are blamed for weight gain. While it is true that some foods are higher in calories than others, the type of food is not as important as the amount. If we consume more calories than our body needs, we will gain weight, regardless whether the calories come from carbohydrates, fat, or protein. Of course, it doesn't mean that we should just gorge ourselves with high-calorie junk food. Rather, it is important to be aware of the calorie content of what we are eating to make sure that our portion sizes are appropriate. By doing so, we can maintain a healthy weight without having to worry about which foods to avoid. So if you've been wondering why some people can seamlessly slim down regardless of what and how much they consume, the answer is simple. The average caloric intake is down to the baseline needed for weight maintenance. You don't gain weight from one big meal, and you don't lose weight from one healthy meal. It's all about the averages. Eat more than your body needs to maintain, you'll gain weight. Eat less than your body needs, and you'll lose weight. So some fat loss fundamentals. So advertisements for fat loss products are everywhere, promising amazing results with little to no effort. It's easy to be lured in by these promises, but the truth is that there is no such thing as a fat loss miracle. The only way to lose weight and keep it off is to follow the basic principles of weight loss. So what are those basic principles? Let's have a look. So the first thing is calories. When it comes to losing weight, the most fundamental principle is calories in versus calories out. If you take in fewer calories than your body needs to maintain its current weight, you will lose weight. This is called a period of time of eating in calorie deficit. Creating calorie deficit is key to losing weight, and there are a few different ways to do it. One way is to reduce the overall number of calories you consume each day. Another way is to increase the amount of exercise you do that you burn more calories than you intake. And finally, you can do a combination of both diet and exercise to create a caloric deficit to help you lose weight. While it may seem simple in theory, creating calorie deficit can be challenging in practice. But if you're committed to losing weight, it's definitely possible to do, especially with a couple of tips we'll give you within this guide, right? So protein. While it's true that eating in a calorie deficit will lead to weight loss, it's important to understand that not all weight loss is created equal. In fact, when we lose weight, we don't just lose fat, we also lose lean body mass, which includes muscle. And since muscle is more metabolically active than fat, this can lead to a slowdown in weight loss. That's why it's important to make sure you're getting enough protein during a period of caloric restriction. Protein helps to preserve lean body mass, keeping your body metabolism humming along and helping to reach your weight loss goals. So if you're trying to lose weight, be sure to include plenty of protein in your diet. So what does plenty mean though? Well, science indicates that the optimal daily protein intake forms at around 0.8 to 1 gram protein per pound of body weight. Keep in mind, though, that not all proteins are the same. The highest quality of protein comes from animal foods, but ultimately it's best to mix a variety of animal and plant foods to have a more complete diet. Fats. For many years, dietary fat has gotten a bad rap. However, it is fair to say that not all fats are created equal. In fact, just like proteins, quality dietary fats are essential for a variety of functions in the body. Dietary fats help to facilitate an absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, maintain hormonal function, and regulate body temperature. They also play a role in brain development and can help to reduce inflammation. While it is important to limit the intake of processed trans fats, quality dietary fats such as olive oils, nuts, avocados, seeds can actually provide health benefits. The optimal daily fat intake forms at 0.45 gram per pound of body weight, derived from quality sources such as ones listed above. Are carbs the culprit? For years, carbohydrates have gotten a bad rap in the world of weight loss, but the truth is, they are not the enemy. Rather, they can be your ally. That's because carbs are your body's preferred source of energy, and they can help you perform your best during exercise, which is well paired with a weight loss diet. When you eat carbs, your body breaks them down into glucose, which is then stored and used for energy. However, when you don't eat carbs and are in a calorie deficit, your body simply doesn't have the fuel to sustain the activity for long, and therefore this insufficient carb intake results in quickly diminished performance. So if you're trying to lose weight, don't cut out carbs completely. Instead, dial in the protein and fat to the above recommended qualities and give your body some carbohydrate love too. Practical implications. So, all right, that's plenty of information for you here. Fat loss is only possible in a caloric deficit. Protein and fats are important, and you need some carbohydrates too. But what are the practical implications of this, and how can you go about creating your ultimate weight loss plan? Let's have a look. Create a deficit. Many people think that the first step to creating a successful weight loss plan is simply cut back in calories drastically. However, this approach is often ineffective as it can be difficult to stick with to a restrictive diet long term. Instead, the key is to sustainable weight loss is creating a calorie deficit. This means knowing your total daily energy expenditure, TDEE, and reducing your calorie intake accordingly. There are a number of ways you can calculate your TDEE, but one of the most accurate methods is to use a integrated calculator that takes all your individual characteristics into account. By importing your height, weight, and gender, these calculators can give you a good estimate of how many calories you burn in a day. Once you know your total daily energy expenditure, you can start to make adjustments to your diet and exercise routine in order to create a deficit. For example, if your total daily energy expenditure is 2,500 calories, you would need to reduce your calorie intake by 500 calories in order to lose weight, down to about 2,000 calories. Out of those 2,000 calories, you will have to set the protein-fat intake to amounts mentioned above and leave the rest for carbohydrates. For instance, if you're eating 2,000 calories a day and 1,200 calories are coming from protein and fat, you have 800 calories worth of carbohydrates to consume, which is about 200 grams of carbs, because 1 gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories. While this approach may require some trial and error at first, it is ultimately more effective than simply cutting calories without knowing your total daily energy expenditure, which is the best calculator to do so, though. Here's one that we found pretty effective, is the one here at this website. But remember, the calculator is just an approximation. Ultimately, you need to take it as a baseline and modify your calorie intake until you get to the point where you lose no more than 1 to 2 pounds a week. Exercise. Dieting is often seen as the most important factor in weight loss. And while this is a certain true to an extent, it is also worth noting that exercising, and more specifically weight training, can also be beneficial. After all, we lose muscle when we lose overall weight, and weight training is a great way to tell your body that you'll need that muscle. Not only that, but it also helps to maintain your metabolism and help you shape it up the muscle underneath the fat. As a result, combining weight with weight training, as a result, combining diet with weight training is the best way to achieve lasting weight loss. Just make sure to exert yourself not too much or reach failure, because after all, you're in a deficit, meaning you have insufficient resource for recovering truly from grueling workouts. Adherence. When it comes to weight loss, there are many different diet plans that people can follow. Low carb, high fat, low calorie, high protein, the list goes on and on. But is there one type of diet that is more effective than the others? According to many experts, there are two factors in weight loss plans that are considered the most important. Those are namely the so discussed calorie deficit and adherence. In other words, the secret is to find a way to be able to stick to a calorie deficit. This makes sense when you think about it. If you're not following your diet plan, then you're not going to lose any weight. So if you're looking to lose weight, the best thing you do is build a diet that you can stick to and go with on the long haul. So here are some tips and tricks, right? Building a sustainable diet plan you can stick to in the long run is easier said than done. Nonetheless, here are some tips and tricks that can help you just do that. So let's have a look at the 3 top tips and tricks I have planned for your weight loss plan. Satiety foods. So what are satiating foods? So foods that are those that help you feel full and satisfied after eating them. There are plenty important. There are a variety of satiating foods that you can include in your diet, such as protein-rich foods, healthy fats, and fiber-rich foods. Including a variety of satiating foods in your meals and snacks will help to keep you feeling fuller longer, so that you're less likely to reach for unhealthy snacks or to overeat at meal times. When you are planning your weight loss diet, be sure to include plenty of satiating foods that you can stick to your plan and reach your goals. Our favorites include beet, organs, eggs, dairy, fruits, and starchy vegetables. There are satiating due to the fact that they are abundant in the most satiating nutrients, fats, proteins, and fiber. Conscious restraint. When it comes to weight loss, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. However, one common thread among successful weight loss stories is the importance of conscious eating habits. All too often, our eating choices are dictated by emotions or patterns that we've established over time. This can lead to overeating when you're not really hungry. By being aware of the choices we make, we can break the cycle of emotional and pattern-based eating. That doesn't mean that every meal has to be carefully planned affair, but it does mean that being conscious of what we're putting in our bodies and making choices that will help us reach our goals. Diet breaks. Let us be real. Dieting can be a difficult and frustrating process. After all, who wants to spend their days feeling hungry and deprived? Thankfully, there may be a way to break free from the psychological chains of dieting by taking regular diet breaks. Diet breaks include periodically taking a week or 2 off from eating in calorie deficit, during which time you still monitor your calorie intake, and the goal is to not have any drastic changes in weight. The term diet break may sound like a recipe for disaster, but diet breaks can actually help to improve diet adherence. In essence, taking periodic breaks makes it more likely for you to stick to your diet and achieve your desired weight. So if you're struggling to stick to your diet, consider taking a break. It just might be what you need. Alrighty,